Yay! What a great DeFi project. I'm sure it must be very popular, right? Hello everyone, this is the first clip on my brand new channel where I discuss various crypto topics as well as projects, and for this clip I plan to dig deep into Momento. What is it? How do you get on it? And what potential does it have? Before I begin, allow me to quote the great William Shakespeare in the 16th century. I am not a financial advisor. What I express here is educational material in an entertaining fashion. My interactions with the crypto ecosystem are made to serve as an example in mechanics of the system, as well as case studies, and not investment advice. Before you make an investment, do your own research. So, what is Momento? According to the official site, the project's aim is to provide a platform through which people can earn through the NFTs they own, play exciting variations within the game, have fun with their friends and a lot more, all while making a living out of it. They also say they aim to provide an all-in-one solution where it's easy and interactive for everyone to understand all of these aspects and actually use it, and also be able to earn through it in multiple ways. And at the core of it all is a game platform that revolves around street football. That sounds like a lot to deal with, so let's analyze all aspects. Although there are more important things to discuss first, this time I'd like to start with marketing because, well, so did they. So, for 3 minutes, they had their commercial projected on a big building. But not any big building, the biggest building, Burj Khalifa in Dubai, which stands at 828 meters height. Their commercial ran over the whole building for a whole 3 minutes. So that was pretty awesome. It's understandable that they put it in the spotlight in all their social media, but let's ask a realistic question. Was it worth it? Let's look at the effects it had. Their official YouTube channel, a channel which only has the clip of their commercial on Burj Khalifa, has 22 subscribers. Not 22 million, not 22,000, but 22. Even more, the clip has 1.2k views and only 3 comments. Now, you might still be optimistic about it and say that it needs more time, but let's remember that they had 3 whole minutes on the world's largest and most luxurious building. That's not exactly cheap. In fact, if we are to trust these 2 articles which I have included in the description, the cost of promoting an ad just once on Burj Khalifa for 3 minutes starts from 250,000 United Arab Emirates dirham and goes to a maximum of 350,000 if it's in the weekend. That is between 68,000 and 95,000 American dollars. So imagine how tragic it is when the project got no traction afterwards. The thing about such campaigns is that they need consistency, not blockbusters to begin with. That money would have been better spent on establishing the brand and not boosting it. These blockbuster type ads that are shown on Burj Khalifa are aimed at already established brands which get plenty of coverage but need a special boost to separate them from the competition. In their cases, 3 minutes on Burj Khalifa really do make a difference, but for the Momento team, it simply meant the world saw the ad for 3 minutes. Whether on Burj Khalifa or a pamphlet, it still is just a 3 minutes ad. In my opinion, people will not remember Momento if they see it for just 3 minutes, even on Burj Khalifa. Now, I don't know the full story. Maybe they had a special discount. Maybe they didn't have to pay at all due to some special circumstance. I can't know for sure, but I will continue my assessment keeping in mind a cost of $68,000 for Burj Khalifa. Right, now let's talk about the token Momento. According to the site, Momento is a multi-utility token that will be used within the games and for purchasing the NFTs. A portion of the revenue that's generated would be distributed to the Momento token holders and the NFT holders, thereby generating passive income for holding onto the token and the NFTs, and the remaining would be used for further development of the project and regular buyback and burns. Although they keep mentioning the game, they have no further details about it. As for the NFTs, all we get is a coming soon. Its total supply is of 1 trillion and it is shared in the following way: 60% in liquidity, 2% in marketing and development, 12% in staking and 26% in the burn mechanisms. They do mention that they will manually buy back the tokens, but the burn will happen automatically. Although manual, the buyback wallet has strict security measures which have been audited by CertiK, but more about that later. Even more, there will be a 10% tax on each transaction, shared in the following way: 3% goes to liquidity, 3% goes to holders, and 4% is for buyback and burn mechanisms. In my opinion, this is a simple yet effective strategy. In regards to the price, at the moment of writing this clip's script, $1 is equal to roughly 550,800 Momento, and it currently has a market cap of $1,152,000. The market cap is certainly not as big as you would expect, but given the project's still early development, I'm willing to get over it. In fact, the price is actually better than expected. As you can see, it was released in late September when it had an expected pump, but the pump was actually quite big, from 0.000000, basically 7 zeros and 56, to 0.50 2025. Basically, in 2 days, it had a pump from 56 to 2025, meaning an increase of 3,616%. That might seem much, but given the low market cap, it's not extraordinary. Still, in my opinion, it performed well. It did have a few pump and dumps, but the price wasn't affected that much. Also, given the so-called winter crypto of the past few months, which shook up lots of projects, the fact that Momento was able to survive and still perform on the same level that it started out is certainly to be appreciated. And in my opinion, once the markets will become more bullish, I expect Momento's price to go up again, like last year, maybe even with some spectacular growth. When it comes to the roadmap, things get a bit rough. They do have a plan, but it's just 2 sections, Phase 1 and Phase 2, with several points on each one. They have things like game development, marketing campaigns, NFTs, partnerships, but that's it. I don't know what their status is. When do they expect them to be finished? Which of these are finished? It's true that things like audit, community building, listings have been finished indeed, but as a potential investor, I need to be able to track them on the roadmap page, which I currently can't. Speaking of the audit, they do have an audit at the most trusted auditor, CertiK. They have a current security score of 89, which is actually very good considering CertiK's exigent and demanding tests of security. Even more, the Momento team is taking it seriously since they had a revision to improve on CertiK's feedback. Keep in mind though that this is related to the Ethereum blockchain only, not Binance Smart Chain, but I'm pretty sure that they treat BSC with the same level of security. What gives me more confidence is that the team is fully doxed. Basically, you can see the LinkedIn accounts of every team member, except this guy for some reason. I know that I shouldn't judge a person by the nationality, but knowing they are all Indian gives me a sort of increased confidence, since Indians in general are known to be experienced and, even more important, passionate in software innovation. I know I'm basically generalizing a 1 billion plus population, but I'm only human. However, I do have something negative to say as well. Remember the Burj Khalifa thing? Well, they have 2 team members dedicated entirely to marketing, so I can't help but wonder how fit is each one for his respective role. Still, it's great that they are doxed. Now, let's have a look at the social media pages. It's important to take them into consideration as they reflect the project's reach to their public. We have seen that their YouTube page is in not such a great shape. 22 subscribers. But what about the other apps? They have 8.5k followers on Twitter and get almost no comments on their posts, except for the Burj Khalifa one, which has 6 comments. On their Twitter page, I could see they had some sort of poker tournaments, although I don't see how this fits the whole picture, especially since their game is supposed to be about street soccer. Their Reddit account is in the same situation with few votes on their posts and almost no comments. Instagram gets a bit more traction, even though they have 3.k followers. They get a bit more comments, even though most of them are spam. They also have a LinkedIn page, and given that they also shared their LinkedIn profiles, apart from this guy, it is clear that they take the networking side of the project seriously. Also, on their Instagram page, there are some interviews to some different channels and websites, and that is good. It means they take action outside of their social media profiles. One thing I'd also like to point out is that the Twitter account listed on Certic is not theirs. At least it's not their official one, just an empty one which says, "I am a robot." Is this good? Bad? I don't know, but I do think it's worth being mentioned. Their Telegram is the one with most action. It gets activity every day. As you would expect, it's made of memes, holders encouraging each other, and general announcements from time to time. However, I did find some bits of information which I didn't find elsewhere. In a long thread, one of the admins confirmed that they are still in early development and they are actively working on the game and NFTs. They already have an artist working on NFTs who is not doxed yet. They expect to release the NFTs in Q2. Upcoming promotional material will be released once they finish the game. The poker championships mentioned on Twitter are not part of their project vision, but are simply to keep their community in place until they release new things. They might change the 10% tax on all transactions if they successfully negotiate partnerships with some whales. And the next thing they will release is the NFTs sometime in Q2. One last thing I want to add here is the site itself, which is responsive, works well, and most of all, has a clear and effective branding. It might not matter now, but a memorable brand is crucially moving forward. Now, let's talk about partnerships. They have a big list on their site regarding the various partnerships they have. On a closer look, you'll see that some are just listings, blockchain explorers, DeFis to get their tokens, price charts. Others just take you either to that respective project's homepage without any mention of Momento, or to Momento's own homepage. There are some that do indeed have something related to Momento. Let's start with Luna PR, which is, you guessed it, a PR company. Momento are basically paying Luna PR for marketing campaigns, as they specifically say it in their press release. The partnership aims to organically grow Momento's community, bring awareness to their brand, and bring attention to their services. Through Luna PR's marketing strategies, personal connections, and clients in the industry, Luna PR plans to take Momento to new heights. I'm not complaining though. I can see that they are a productive, resourceful company and can promote the project very efficiently, at least better than the Burj Khalifa. The so-called partnership has already brought some pretty good press releases on crypto.news, cryptodaily.co.uk, ambcrypto.com, newsbtc.com, and beingcrypto.com. Let's hope they do more and continue to focus on consistency and not blockbusters. Now you're probably wondering, how can you take part in it? Well, you buy the token. But there is a question of which decentralized exchange to use. More specifically, Uniswap or PancakeSwap. And this matters because you're basically choosing the blockchain on which to buy your tokens. Personally, I'd go for PancakeSwap because, you know, gas fees. I don't know yet how they're going to bridge the tokens from BSC to ETH, so as a matter of precaution, be prepared to have the tokens on the respective blockchain for a while after you buy. If you buy on PancakeSwap, make sure you set the slippage to 12. That means you'll buy it at a slightly bigger price, but that's the only way to get it. And this applies to many other new crypto and DeFis. My take is not very positive and not very negative either. It's in between, tilting just slightly to positive because of how well the price managed to survive. I think they have lots of work to do, to focus on consistent PR campaigns, to deliver something well made, to add utility to tokens, just to name a few. Personally, the fact that they want to combine a game with NFTs might seem a bit much for a project in such an early stage and with a team who is at its first crypto project. In my opinion, they could focus on just doing one thing right first and then see what form or shape could the next element of the project be. I think the Burj Khalifa ad was a failure, and if they continue on this road, they will prioritize vanity over their project's success. Still, I'm seeing potential, and because of this, I'm willing to buy Momento worth 0.12 BNB, which is roughly $50. That means I have almost 26 million Momento. I expect the value of my investment to decrease in the next few weeks to around 45, but by the end of the year to reach around $60, maybe even more. If it passes $55 and its market cap increases considerably, I'll consider investing a few more $100. As I said before, this is not financial advice, I'm just saying what I'm doing. Always do your own research before investing even $1. If you stood with me this far, please consider to subscribe, as I'm going to make further videos about other projects too. If you'd like me to have a look at a specific project, let me know. And if you are a holder of Momento and disagree with some of the negative aspects I pointed out, or want to correct me on some things I've said, feel free to do so in a civilized manner. I am looking forward to Momento's future updates. Until then, take care.